Hello, everybody. My name is Juan Vides, and welcome to Winning on Wednesday. And the purpose we're here is to simply get to know each other. I always say people do business who they know, like, and trust. Speaking of knowing, like, and trust, I would like to introduce my guest today and a friend, George Wentworth. How you doing, George?
I'm fantastic. How are you, Juan?
Very good. Can you just quickly introduce yourself? Do give us the old elevator speech, as they say.
George Wentworth, the founder and CEO of Group Wentworth. Been fortunate enough to work across multiple industries, real estate, financial services, tech, over the past 2 decades. And my company focused on providing tailored business solutions, so office in a box services, everything from financial management and bookkeeping to HR, management and hiring. We help companies, particularly startups and medium-sized companies, build strong foundations, and we help them with their sustainable growth. The journey hasn't always been easy, lots of ups and downs, but it's given me resilience and a lot of invaluable experience that I try to apply every day at work and for my clients.
Excellent. Well, tell us, take us back now. Where did it all began? Tell us where it all got started. Where were you born? Where were you born? And tell us that history, your journey.
So yeah, it all began in 1992. I was born. So I was born and raised in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And growing up there, I was exposed to a lot of different cultures. And from an early age, I knew I wanted my life to be bigger than my surroundings. And that eventually led me to move to the US as a teenager, which, as you can imagine, was a huge change, a big leap of faith, and it came with its own challenges. But I eventually made it.
Excellent. And when you were growing up, did you have any aspirations or anything to become like, what did you have ideas what you want to become when you grew up or?
Sort of, but it changed a lot. I had dreams of becoming an actor and was an actor when I was a child, then a
Wow.
singer, and then I even wanted to follow my father's footsteps as a biologist. But none of that stuck for too long. What stayed with me was that sense that I wanted to create something, to build something meaningful, in a way.
Wow.
Uh, yeah.
That's amazing. And what about role models? Anybody inspired you?
Yeah, my first role model was my great grandmother, Georgina. She was like my first and most important mentor. She was a trailblazer. She valued education and self-reliance in a time when that wasn't really encouraged, especially for women. And even though she passed away when I was young, her lessons on pride in your work and perseverance really left a lasting impact in my life. So today I'm inspired by other leaders. They are resilient, adaptable, and give back. Like a lot of the entrepreneurs that, I met along the way and a lot of mentors that I've been lucky enough to have.
Wow. And what about your education? Where'd you go to school?
So I initially studied farm sciences in Brazil as a teenager, and then moved to the US, moved to Boston, went to UMass, studied fine arts, or as my parents say, not a real degree. And eventually I studied business management at the London School of Economics.
Oh, wow. So you
Mm.
traveled a lot.
Yeah, yeah. And then the post-grad work at Cornell University for strategic human resources management.
Wow. Take us about when you got out of high school, or college, and your first real job. Take us back then, and what was your first real job, and take us the
Mm,
journey of what you're doing now, or
sure.
what you've gone from there. To talk about that.
Yeah, so my first job was managing a restaurant in Boston. And I really took the opportunity to learn the ins and outs of the business, from operations to finance and payroll. It was sort of like my real first taste in a business, and it sparked my interest in entrepreneurship. I was lucky enough to work with the owners, the founders that really took me under their wing and taught me a lot about business. And this was before I had a formal, business education. I was still, pretty young in school, but at the same time, learning about how to run a business. And that is an industry that can be very stressful. There was a lot of personnel turnover, very small profit margins. So you don't have a lot of room for mistakes, but it was sort of like baptism by fire. And I learned a lot, and it sort of just took off from there. That's where my true passion for business and business management came from.
And then where you went off of there after that?
So from there, I started working at a construction company. So completely different industry. And I became a project manager for a construction company that worked in the Boston area and the North Shore. Um, and I was able to apply some of what I had learned from the restaurant industry, but also use a little bit of my sort of tech savvy know-how. So I built a program to track their inventory, which saved them a lot of money and helped things move along a little bit easier. So worked there for a few years, got injured on a visit to a job site. So then I was lent to a real estate company. While I was recovering, I couldn't really use my leg and got better. But while I was working at this real estate company, they were launching a couple of new businesses. So I helped them set those up and ended up staying there and worked there for about 6 years. And just fantastic. Learned a lot. Learned a lot about the real estate industry. Um, Ended up working with the founder of that company, who became one of my biggest mentors, Earl. And I left to start my first company, my first startup. And it was a construction company. And we focused on both the commercial real estate side. So we worked with big organizations like Harvard University, the Smithsonian Institute,
Oh, wow.
and we also worked on high-end real estate for private owners. And which, again, we married technology to it. So what I tell people is like, we were doing what you see on HGTV, but we were doing that back before that was super popular.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so that was really fun and really challenging because I launched that company in 2008, right before the crash.
Oh, man.
So yeah, so that came with its own set of challenges. But um, going through that crisis and then coming out on the other side and having a successful business taught me a lot. And again, really a test of um, resilience and perseverance, I think, for me and the people that I was working with. Um, had that until 2013 when I moved to New York, then sold that business and moved to the city.
Oh, wow. And you're doing that now. So tell us about I like this segment called the Golden Nugget segment. It's if there's something
Yes.
that you learn from your journey, something you want to leave behind, something to be a better entrepreneur, a better business
Mhm.
person, as they say. So this is the opportunity called the Golden Nugget. So what piece of
Perfect.
Golden Nugget would you like to leave behind?
What I tell people is the importance of building a strong team. You can't do everything yourself, and trying to do so is just going to hold you back. So success for me comes in big part by empowering others, by delegating, by trusting your team to handle things. And it's, key to stay adaptable because, your business will evolve. So should your strategies. So hire the best people you can, give them all the tools they need to succeed, and then trust that they will do it. If you cannot trust them, they shouldn't be part of your team. So hire the best, give them all the tools, empower them, delegate, and get out of the way.
Yes, and
Yeah.
don't micromanage.
Yeah, oh, absolutely not. Do not micromanage. That's a whole job, and
Uh,
that's a terrible job to do. Yeah, no, no, no.
no, I
Yeah, no,
know.
don't micromanage. Just trust that your team is going to get it done. And like I said, if you don't trust them, then it's a big sign they shouldn't be in your team, and it's time to let them go and find somebody that um, that works well with you. And again, if you give them all the tools they need and they're capable, they'll get everything done. Delegating is key. That's how you're going to get a lot of your time back. Then you can do
And
other things. You can grow, you can help your
and
business grow, you can give back.
and be a nice too.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I always tell people I don't I so I was saying because I say I'm not nice, I'm friendly. I mean, if I have to be tough, I will be tough. If I have to tell you something, I'm gonna tell you something. But I am friendly and I have manners. So, let's start with hello, how are you? And genuinely care with the
Yes.
people that you are around and
Yep.
be mindful, be be caring,
Yes.
be supportive. So I've had team members that have worked with me for coming up on 10 years now,
Oh wow.
and sometimes they need a break. They need a mental break. They need a wellness sort of like shut down, and it's important to respect that. It's important to understand people's boundaries, and if you're really good and you go above and beyond, you recognize when they need that sometimes before they even do. So a lot of times I'll tell my team
Yes.
members like, go home, or you know don't work tomorrow, or you need to schedule a vacation or
That's
I need to do
that's
something, just to let them know, like, I see it, and maybe you don't see it yet, but it's okay to take a step back. It's fine.
I think you hit it on the nail, George, when you said genuine. Just be genuine, and
Hmm.
in this aspect, you genuinely care for the
Yeah,
individual. You genuinely care. You're being genuine, sincere, and I think people
yeah.
see that and recognize that, and that
It
holds
comes
value.
it comes across, yeah. If you're truthful and genuine about how you treat people, how you feel about
Hmm.
things, it I think most
That's
people can tell, and yeah.
I know. And I forced you to do this interview. I know. So I'm just joking. But moving along. But networks and communities. Let's talk about that. Organizations. Do you belong into any spheres of influence?
Yeah, so I'm actively involved in, different business networks and chambers of commerce. And I've said this, before, I've written about it. I'm a big believer in the power of networking. And I found that, when you build genuine relationships, and being a part of business communities has been, one of those ways, and probably the most effective way, I think, to build on these communities. Find your tribes, right? So I found communities that resonated with me, that have people there are truly networking, trying to help you, whether or not they have something to gain, giving you good advice or insight, or making introductions. And I try to do the same. So I try to offer that value as well. So there are some communities that really resonated with me. The one that I'm involved with the most, and you probably see the most posts on my social media about, is the National Hispanic Business Group, the New York chapter. They do tremendous work. They are really invested in helping the members, and it's minority business owners, really trying to make a mark and grow their companies. And this organization really helps you do that. I've been lucky enough to work with the National Women in Construction, the New York chapter. So I'm not a woman in construction, although I do have a background in construction. But they do wonderful work. There is a lot of fantastic companies they are members, and you don't have to be a woman, and you don't have to be in construction to support them, and to do business with them. So it's a great organization that I think it's worth people checking out. And recently, most recently, I've become a member of the WOW networking. um,
Let's check the be on the mail. Don't worry about
Winning on Wednesdays.
it.
No, but honestly, again, another community of entrepreneurs and business-minded people, really interesting because they're interested in working together and promoting one another. And I think anyone in business, and especially if you're not, working in a big corporation, you definitely benefit from that network and that support system. So having those people cheering you on and give you opening doors and giving you introductions is crucial.
And we were just talking earlier, saying how you were getting a lot of people contacting you. So that was a very
Yes,
refreshing,
yes, I have. Yes.
So,
A lot. So there are going to be a lot of good things coming
so
from WOW
yeah, no, absolutely.
Group Wentworth.
No, like you said, so, and when you got to other organizations, is the stuffy or, either they don't get back to you, and
Yeah.
it's really different. And I think it's
So, yeah, a lot
you're
of times you have that, with networking events or networking organizations where you meet a lot of people and have lovely conversations, and then there was not a lot of follow through or even follow up, right? So it's fine to go to an event. It's great. You go back, you answer, you pick up a lot of business cards, you answer questions, you follow up the next day, you send them messages, emails, whatever. And that's all great. But if it's only you doing that because you're going to events and people are not really that engaged, it becomes tiresome. So it's nice when you are sending some messages, but you have people reaching back out to you as well and making introductions. And again, being honest and really interested in your services or your products or anything like that. It's just it re-energizes oneself.
yeah.
So I try to stick around for organizations that provide that, and the ones that don't, I give it a try once, twice, and then I let go. Because again, we don't have so much time, right? And I can only attend so many events, so I become more selective on the ones that I attend and the organizations that I belong to.
I I think over time you become more smarter, right? You know where to, when to
Yeah, I
finish
mean,
your
it's
big.
that old adage of work smarter, not harder. And that's definitely part of it. I mean, if you're going to events or participating in organizations that are not giving you any returns, where you don't really have any leads, I mean, why waste time and money and energy on those? So I used to belong to other organizations that I don't belong anymore. I'm not going to mention them. But because of that. So, maybe it works for other people, maybe it works for other businesses, but it didn't really provide any value to my business or to myself. So I moved on, and now I have time and energy to invest on other organizations that provide that value or energize me and my business in a way that is, productive
Yeah.
and sustainable.
So I like the way you said it, find your tribe. So that's really well put. So,
Yeah, it's so
so
important. And sometimes your tribe is not who you think they will be.
where you got
Certainly for me, like if you asked me 10 years ago who my tribe would be, it would not be who they are today. But I found my tribe. I found people that I genuinely admire, entrepreneurs, and smart people, capable people, hardworking people that I like as professionals and as individuals.
yeah.
And I get to work with a lot of those people. It's amazing to actually work
So
with people you like.
oh, and trust. And
That's
so tell us about now about your your company, the group Wentworth.
mhm.
We're up here now. So finally we leave
Yes.
the best for last. So
The
you
best for
tell us
last.
the best for
Yes.
last. You see, I kind of switch it around because most people, it's like they talk about
Yes.
what they do first, but let's we get to know you now. Now when people know you now,
Yeah.
now let's
Now,
sell.
now they might listen.
Yeah.
So Group Wentworth was founded during the pandemic. At that time, I was working for a multinational company, and I was in charge of their business operations. They decided to close their New York office, so I had the option of move elsewhere or leave. Option of either leave or move. And I'm based in New York. This is my home, so I wasn't going anywhere. So I left, and that's when Group Wentworth started. Because a lot of my team was also leaving, they approached me and they say they wanted to work with me. That's where the name Group Wentworth came from. It is a group of us. And although the company is about 3.5 years old, our team has been together for about 10 years now. So we are older than the company that we work at. We are a great team. And the reason we got started with Group Wentworth is to have more of an impact than we could have at a larger company. So we take a lot of those strategies, a lot of the principles that we know work, and we get to help smaller companies and really give that full impact by helping them become more sustainable, helping them achieve better growth, and organize their business operations. Like I said, everything from financial management, bookkeeping, HR, recruiting, payroll services, even social media management. We do the business of running a business. And how I normally tell executives, if I have, a 5-second pitch, is delegate your stress to us.
Excellent. Thank
So,
you. Thank you for sharing your story. And if people want to learn more about you or contact you, what's the best number to contact you or the best way to contact you?
so the best way would be reaching out via email at george@groupwentworth.com. So you can contact me directly. If you want to contact my team, info@groupwentworth.com. You can visit our website. I'll let you guess what that is, groupwentworth.com. And if you want to see some of my content, I am on social media. I'm on LinkedIn as well. So George Wentworth from Group Wentworth. And on all other social media is at Lord of Hardwick. That's Lord of Hardwick, HARDWICK.
Excellent. Thank you so much, George. And if you want to be a guest on Winning on Wednesday, simply go to our website, winningonwednesday.com, and sign up as a first-time guest. And thank you so much for sharing your story, and we'll see you next week. Thank you so much. Thank
My
you.
pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Glenn.
Bye-bye.